The keynote speech at the Bitcoin conference in Nashville, he made a series of promises, including to make the U.S. The Bitcoin superpower of the globe. Yet Bitcoin is actually lower today. Joining us now with more is Mackenzie Sagalis, Mac, as you like to call yourself. Welcome.
Hey, Tyler.
What's going on?
It's because of all the things that Trump didn't say on Saturday. So, yes, he made promises, but these are things that he's been repeating on the campaign trail. And moreover than that, the U.S. already has this stake of Bitcoin, around $14.5 billion that it's gotten in these seizures. And usually the U.S. Marshals Service will sell it off. And he's saying, no, let's keep it in a stockpile. But the thing about keeping it in a strategic stockpile is that it's very easily tapped by an executive order. Now, he says that he's going to hold on to it. We'll see about that. But what people in the crowd wanted to hear is, hey, we're creating a Bitcoin reserve. I'm going to establish a pathway with the help of Congress to buy Bitcoin. And of course, we saw Senator Lummis come on stage after Trump and say that she was going to put forth that legislation within the next few days, 1 million Bitcoin over the next 5 years. Even if Republicans sweep the White House, the House, and the Senate, getting politicians on board with the idea of U.S. taxpayer dollars going toward buying Bitcoin, I think might be a hard sell with some voters.
Depends on how much money they're throwing at these politicians, Sarad. I'm curious what you make of this, the way that crypto has so quickly gone so mainstream.
Well, I think it's interesting because you look at crypto, most other things come from the institutions investing. This is coming from the retail side.
Still is it, or is it now institutions?
Well, they are starting to, but the retail side is still so much stronger.
Yeah.
Right. And even though the SEC now has given their blessing to certain parts of the crypto world, I think this is also becoming a political hot button to say, hey, are you with us? Or are you against us? So I think this was kind of, and it's a reversal for former President Trump, right?
Yeah.
Before he made fun of Bitcoin. But now I think it's how do we get crypto into our lives, especially what are the usages of it, right? I think that's the important part.
So you use taxpayer money to buy and build a stockpile. That would be what? A hedge against a collapsing dollar, or what?
Exactly. That's the way that Senator Lummis is really trying to sell this in her announcement. In fact, just to have a hard currency to back up the U.S. dollar. So that's really what she's interested in with respect to this. And in terms of the investors, what they get out of it.
Well, it isn't really a hard currency, is it? It's bits and bytes on somebody's computer.
Well, it depends how you look at it. But I'll tell you why Bitcoin isn't doing better. And that's because what this would have meant is that you're taking Bitcoin out of the market, right? And then if the U.S. government establishes a reserve, I bet you're going to see other governments follow suit. So then you see basic supply and demand economics. You're going to see the price go up, and that's what people wanted to hear Saturday, and they didn't.
In the near term, the price would go up, but then you have this, once it's already priced in, then they're looking for the next catalyst, and at that point, you could use the reserve for boosting the price of it or lowering the price of it as need be. So, I understand the excitement over it in the very, very short run, but it's kind of be a one-off event.
And I think that there are so many details that are still so unclear. I spoke to people that were at a closed-door roundtable with former President Trump ahead of this speech that he gave, and there weren't any more details offered then about either the stockpile or, Senator Lummis was in the room. We didn't get more details than what she presented. That bill will be coming forward. We'll see how the mechanics might operate when that legislation is out.
Let's switch gears, talk about another newsmaking remark the president made where he said he would fire the SEC chairman, Gary Gensler, on day one. He would have a very busy day one. He's got a lot of things that he's planning for day one. The audience loved it. Can he really do that? Can he really fire the SEC commissioner?
Certainly not. That is the entire point of having set this up as an independent agency, to avoid this precise situation. And the thing is that, Chair Gensler has, a year plus left on his term. And even after the incoming president appoints a new chairman, Gensler will have the opportunity to remain with the regulator as a commissioner. So he's not going anywhere. But as you said, the crowd erupted when Donald Trump said that, more so than any other comment that he made, and he repeated it. And that's because Chair Gensler has become the embodiment of the anti-crypto movement here in the United States and, frankly, the world, because the U.S. is the crypto cop on the planet today. And what they think is that the SEC has essentially been regulating this space through enforcement actions, most notably with Coinbase, a company that they, gave the green light to list, and they were sued last year. And what's interesting to me? Coinbase chief legal officer has been shown up at least 2 Trump fundraising events, most recently in Nashville this past weekend. Before that, at David Sachs' home in San Francisco, where they raised $12 million for Trump.
Interesting.